My boss announced at the company retreat we could replace him with an intern and save $50,000 a year. The board laughed. I smiled and said, "Good luck with that." Monday morning, I sent a 2-word resignation email, effective immediately. No transition notes, no handover documents, just my laptop and badge left on the reception desk at 6 a.m. before security arrived. For 8 years, I'd been the invisible backbone of Dataflow Solutions, the guy who knew which ancient server ran the payroll system, why the main database needed a specific restart sequence, and which client preferred calls at 2 p.m. sharp on Tuesdays. I'd built relationships with 200+ vendors, memorized every client's quirks, and kept our prehistoric infrastructure running with duct tape and prayer. Day 1 without me, nothing happened. My boss probably high-fived himself thinking he'd called my bluff. Day 3, the automated reports stopped generating. Nobody knew I'd been manually triggering them at 6:30 a.m. because the scheduler broke in 2019 and fixing it was not in the budget. 17 clients called asking where their morning analytics were. The intern they hired to replace me didn't even know we had automated reports. Week 2, the quarterly tax filing got rejected. Turns out, I'd been the only one who knew about the specific format the state required, something I'd figured out after 3 rejections back in 2018. The company got hit with a $15,000 late penalty while they scrambled to hire an emergency consultant. Week 4, our biggest client called the CEO directly. The custom integration I'd built for them crashed, and nobody could figure out my code. Not because it was complex. I'd actually offered to document it properly 3 times, but management said documentation was busy work. That client represented 30% of our revenue. They threatened to leave. Month 2, the vendor relationship started collapsing. The printing company doubled their prices because I'd negotiated our rates based on a personal relationship with their sales manager, Rico. The coffee supplier stopped delivering because nobody remembered to approve their monthly invoice, something I'd handled without being asked. Even the building's cleaning crew started skipping our floor because I'd been the one coordinating with them in Spanish, which nobody else in management spoke. My former coworker, Dennis, secretly texted me that they'd hired 3 people to cover my responsibilities. Combined, they were making $180,000 annually. The boss who wanted to save $50K was now spending an extra $130K, and things still weren't running smoothly. Month 3, I heard through LinkedIn that 5 major clients had left. The new hires couldn't maintain the relationships I'd cultivated. They didn't know that Mr. Peterson only responded to emails with specific subject lines, or that Veronica from TechCorp needed her reports in Excel, not PDF, because her boss was old school. Meanwhile, I was consulting for their competitor at 3 times my old salary, working remotely from my new apartment with a view of the mountains. I set boundaries. No calls after 5 p.m., no weekend emergencies, and every request goes through proper channels. They treated me like the expert I'd always been. 6 months later, my old boss called me personally. Dataflow was hemorrhaging money. Would I consider coming back? They'd double my salary, give me the senior title I'd deserved for years, and even throw in equity. I listened to him stumble through his pitch, the same man who'd publicly declared me worthless to save pennies on the dollar. When he finished, I gave him the same energy he'd given me. Sounds like an intern's job to me. Good luck with that. The company folded 8 months later. The intern never did learn how to restart that database. I now run my own consulting firm with 12 employees. We specialize in helping companies identify and retain their essential personnel, the ones managers think they can replace with interns. My first slide in every presentation is a photo from that company retreat, with my boss's quote in bold letters. It's the most effective sales pitch I've ever had. Sometimes the best way to prove your worth is to let them discover what happens without you. And sometimes, what they discover is that they never deserved you in the first place.